Hi folks, Dave Woodard, the man from the East. It's been a little while since I've been online. I know I look tired. I am tired. I just spent a week down helping a family member who had a stroke, and it's been a long week. I just traveled home last night, and I'm back. I didn't have good signal down there. I put out my crap video to give everybody the with the whipped cream. Anyways, I know there's a lot of things that I've given people for information, especially recently, since I'm not supposedly going to court. That may change. I put out my clues video that have a ton of clues about Aunt Esther and Clark Kent and how they pulled together. Because all the magic in Forrest Fenn's treasure hunt ending is Clark Kent and Aunt Esther. And they're the ones in the book that are incorporated into this whole solve. This whole treasure hunt revolved around Clark Kent and Aunt Esther. The homely girl on the cross. And the looking for Lewis and Clark is looking for Lois and Clark. And then all the others are just all sprinkles of joy and wonder on top of that. But that right there, my problem I've kind of done is I backed away from it, because what they did, the crew, let's just call them the crew today. I've thought about this video like all week since I haven't had signal, that I was going to swear a real lot to get my point across, but I'm not going to. I don't have to this morning. This morning I'm rested, but I'm still tired. But the crew has squashed Kent and Esther, saying, "Oh, it's some pets." That's why. It's somebody's pets that were sitting on the side of a parking lot at Cimarron Canyon. Well, that's the magic, folks. Aunt Esther is the homely girl that he talks about from the grave marker. And in these quote videos that I'm going to be putting out, I'm almost at the end. I wanted to do all of them, but I'm going to have to cut it short. And each one I put in a slide is so condensed, it's going to have to pause on each one. When this quote video comes out, like in the next day or two, it's a lot of information about Superman and Clark Kent and Aunt Esther. See, this is the thing about Forrest Fenn's treasure hunt solve is actually very, very easy. It's Dancing with the Stars. All the stars he pulls into the books, how important everything was about meeting different people. And you look at his books, you look at the hundreds of people that he puts throughout, all famous people that he knew. And multiple times he talks about that he wasn't famous. He was just in with them. He mingled with them. He danced with the stars. That's what this whole thing is, Dancing with the Stars. And I show you that in the other two videos. I think I might even have showed it on the end, at the end of the crap video. I don't remember which video is which. But he said, "I will tell you of my secret." And then he says, many nights when my wife was watching Dancing with the Stars. It's perfect the way he did this. So I'm not worried about people that are going to see this, Shiloh. People are going to see that this is the actual true solve. There's no fucking denying that. I swear. There's no denying that people are going to see that this is a solve. If you are relying on certain Forrest Fenn vloggers that have their own solve that just don't want to give up, no offense to Greg out there. I watched part of your videos, getting a little bit of signal, coming in and out. You talking about everybody's solve. You love everybody's solve. You don't pick on anybody's solve. That's fine. I'm not picking on other people's solves. I'm just telling you that they're all wrong. That's all. They're great. They're from the heart. I understand. But this isn't Buddy League. That's how I felt when you were talking. Sparky, I love your solve. Why must I go? I love your solve. You love everybody's solve. Everybody's equal. Not everybody's equal. There was one person who solved it, Greg. And that one person needs to rise above all of the other solves if you guys want answers. Because I've got the answers to give you of what they're doing, what they've done, the pictures. This is where I'm going to say I can tell the future. Because the first picture that came out, was from September of 2019. But it didn't come out until June when it was sent to Forrest Fenn, correct? Okay, so that right there, I can tell that future. I can tell you the dates of when this stuff happened. Not precisely to the day, but what they're doing is they're following the narrative that I had with Forrest Fenn, because in his record somewhere that they know is going to eventually have to come out, Forrest Fenn received information that the treasure was found with the cross, with the grass in the picture that I sent him. I sent him that picture. He knew that it had been solved in July of 2000. And then he mentioned it to Sasha. He mentioned it to Shiloh. Sasha only knew that somebody was really close, that they found the final resting place. But Shiloh knew where the spot was. So September of 2019, I know, folks, you don't want to accept this as fact, but it is going to be out there as fact. Shiloh's the one that went and dug it up behind Forrest Fenn's back in 2019, in September. That first picture that came out, the dates on that, guaranteed, I know, are from September 2019. That's why they brought in this other date and a possibility of 2 treasure chests to cover their ass. I'm going to say that a couple times. What they've done to cover their ass. Now, that first picture that we all saw with the mulch on the outside and only the condensed picture of the box, that picture data, the metadata on that picture is going to be, okay, this is where I tell the future. It is going to be September 2019, that first picture, because Shiloh was stupid enough to send Forrest Fenn that actual picture from that date. That's where they're screwed. I should have picked up on this. It takes me a little while for it all to click in and know what you guys have done. And that's what you did, Shiloh. Okay, this is where you're going to go, we should have took this sucker out. I'll say sucker instead of what I wanted to say. Well, you're going to say we should have took this sucker out because he's the one that will bring us down. So that first picture is dated. Metadata, that's what you need. McCracken, if you're out there, which I doubt, you're too busy getting your court stuff together. And I hope you don't fuck this court case. It's not going to go through. I can tell you that right now. What you need to ask for is the metadata on the very first picture that they put out. And it'll show that it's 2019 September, right after I sent the information to Forrest Fenn. Now that right there, again, what they're trying to do and what they're trying to get across, and they can't because they're making it all up as they go. They're trying to say that Jack found the treasure chest in 2019, right? September? But he waited a year. That's the date. July, when I found the actual treasure chest. Final resting place. So what they're trying to do, so maybe Forrest has an email to Dale that says, hey, someone found the treasure chest. I'm waiting for him to contact me. They're trying to pull in that information into their solve, which they can't do, especially in Wyoming. You notice all the pictures? The pictures look like that log that Jack supposedly stepped on and took a picture of there was a hole in the ground, and then they put the treasure chest, and then they took a picture. People that dig holes, anybody that's ever dug a hole to plant something, when you put the plant in, you see the dig hole, right? Well, that's what the picture is in Wyoming. They're so dumb. They are so dumb. That's the new pictures they put out, which is pictures from this year. Okay? I would say this year. They've had 2 years to try to gather up as much as they can to falsify Wyoming. Now, and why am I so glad? I would just want to stress this. You say that it was in Wyoming. Forrest Fenn said it was in Wyoming. You don't understand why they're saying it was somewhere else other than your spot in Wyoming. So, in other words, they're lying about where it was, but they're not lying about Wyoming. So you're contradicting yourself. They're lying about the whole fucking thing. Why must I go? Troy, they're lying about the whole thing in Wyoming. And I can prove it because this information that I put out about Kent and Esther is so huge. That is the thing I should have been pushing right along. That should be in the news already. That, holy mackerel, the guy came forward who really solved Forrest Fenn's treasure hunt with Superman, with Aunt Esther, Canasta, just like polyester.
Dressed in gingham.
That was polyester, sucker.
Yeah, polyester, that's you. Half woman, half parrot.
And being a parrot and half woman, that's Forrest Fenn created this whole thing out of the stars that he loved as a kid watching TV when he grew up. And he figured out how to incorporate it and meld the thoughts together when the cross came back into his life years later. There's so much involved with this, but this is the actual solve, Shiloh, and you know that you cannot cover it up. So eventually, this shit's going to come out, and you can't keep it crushed down anymore. Why the other vloggers don't talk to me? Maybe they're mad at my dumb as a stumps video. I just wanted to prove a point with the stumps. That the stumps in the epilogue in the first book, right? The Thrill of the Chase, there's a palisade right in the back of that whole thing in the epilogue. That's what an actual palisade is. Palisade Sill. And the epilogue tells you what the story is. It's beautiful the way Forrest Fenn did it. And if you look at these last clue videos, folks, you will see there is hundreds of things that bring you to Palisades Sill, New Mexico. But the problem with the whole thing is it's so gigantically webbed together with, you have to know what Windows is. Windows is the sill, Palisades Sill. So when you understand that thought in a sentence, when he reads something, That's how it's all brought together and incorporated. It's simple. It is so simple. And I even did the Post-it video in like the quotes that are coming out. Forrest Fenn said you could fit in on a Post-it stamp, right? A Post-it sheet. The actual map, begin it where warm waters halt. That's your first clue to the map. That's why Forrest Fenn said it's the very first clue to the map. The very first clue is as I've gone alone in there. He's telling you about Palisades Hill. And some of the things that people have said, it's a roundabout. You end up back where you started, right? See, this is all so interconnected. But you know what? I shouldn't get into the whole solve here because I've got other things I still want to say as far as telling the future. But again, I get excited because I know exactly what the solve is. So, anyways, you start at Palisades Hill. Then you go, begin it where warm waters halt. It is the map. That's it. Begin it where warm waters halt. It's Agua Fria Peak. Take it in the canyon down. Take it. You're going to take the map into the canyon. Right? Cimarron Canyon. And put in below the home of Brown is its own clue. It's just Eagle's Nest, and it's put in down below in the canyon. And then from there, from Palisades Hill again, because that's where everybody passes by. They just go right by they get the first two clues, right? Agua Fria Peak, and then they get Eagle's Nest, and then they go right by Palisades Hill and go down and search the creek. There'll be no Padalucky Creek. That's why they go down there. It's beautiful. It is all beautiful. And I will bring back Forrest Fenn's legacy. I will be the guy that brings back. This is the thing about all the vloggers. You don't know who to blame. You think it's Forrest Fenn. You think it's Jack. They are. Forrest Fenn got played. Jack is just a face to cover for Shiloh's theft of the treasure chest. And this is going to come out, Shiloh. You know it is. You absolutely know the people. What they're doing, folks, is they're playing on dumbness, hoping. Right now, it is naiveness. You've been fed and told something by K-Pro and Karl Lazar's. And if you notice in K-Pro and Karl Lazar's video with Cynthia, okay, I haven't had signal, so I haven't been able to watch a lot of the other new ones come out. But you notice when the pictures came out of Rudy Green finding the treasure chest where Cynthia couldn't find it 3 years down there, and how roughed up the log was, that's because of all the fake pictures they took there. That's why that thing was demolished. It wasn't because of Jack standing there taking a picture or a few pictures, or doesn't remember how many pictures he took. I mean, this is so fucking convolutedly dumb that they're coming out with. So keep in mind, okay, this is what, like guys like Shy Guy, I need you to look up information because they're saying the statute of limitations is over to be able to sue for the treasure chest. What happens now if McCracken goes into court and says, hey, I want the metadata for the first picture that was put out way back in 2020, June 6th. That's what I want the metadata for. And you're going to see that it lines up with September. These other ones are just falsified stuff that aren't even going to line up with a date. They are so fucking screwed with if somebody's able to get them far enough into court and pull that information, nothing's going to come out of Forrest Fenn's death certificate being falsified. That's a whole different story. I'm not even going to get into that. You need to understand, folks, anyone at this point, New Mexico government, FBI, if you are going into this court case for any reason, you need the metadata on those pictures. That is what's going to prove that first picture was dug up at Cimarron Canyon in New Mexico. Absolutely guaranteed. All right? And that's coming from the guy who solved it. And Greg, I'm not picking on you because you're like a buddy league solver. Everybody's equal, and that's how you're going in. But that's not how you're going to solve this dilemma of who it's coming from. You think it's coming from Forrest, and this one thinks it's coming from Shiloh, and this one thinks it's coming from Jack. Folks, right now, understand this is all stemming from Shiloh Old creating this whole falsified treasure hunt ending, and Forrest Fenn having to go with it. Because did you think that Forrest Fenn wanted to go, everybody, I have an announcement. My grandson stole the treasure chest from all of you, so Forrest Fenn got forced into saying Wyoming. And he was so fucking upset over that. And it's pathetic. It's sad. But you folks are going to see it. You will see that the really, really smart people out there. I'm looking for teams of college people to understand this solve that I put out over the Forrest Fenn vloggers who have their own solves stuck up wherever they want to put it in their mind. But I want the groups of people like college level to look at these clues and go, because you're going to find a lot more. I've only touched the surface of 15 years of this solve, and it is amazing and creative and beautiful. For Superman, Clark is getting a lot of publicity. There's so many innuendos that Forrest Fenn put in these. My brother called me Bubba for Bubba Bexley. I've given so many actual, factual, real hints that are so cool. And people in the Fenn community don't want to lose their 15 minutes of fame. Big deal. I don't care. I'm tired from my trip. I'm tired from fighting for a year to try to have people understand that there is one person who solved it, and I have come forward. I have given that information. I have solved so much of this 15 years. But the main thing that you have to understand is Kent and Esther are the king of everything. That cross that was so important, that grave marker to Forrest Fenn and how he wanted. Read My War for Me. That's all. Just read My War for Me again and look at it objectively as far as how important that cross was to him. And then also, he's talking about Courage Wears a Crimson Coat. That's for Superman. That poem. There's so many things that lead you to Superman. The leaping off the bridge, the long jump, there's so many more. Jumping the milk truck. There's a milk truck superhero. The Milkman Man. And Golden Arrow. And the Green Giant. And he says right there, all of these are heroes behind me. Even the Jolly Green Giant. It's a hero, a superhero he's talking about. This is for Superman, but he can't tell you Superman. That's why he brings in Captain America. He talks about the Hulk. He talks about Thor. All the superheroes. Forrest Fenn brings all of these things in to incorporate it into his solve. It's so simple, folks. It's so simple, yet everybody makes it so complicated because they have stuck in their head a certain way something's supposed to go. You're wrong. I don't mean to be an asshole about it, but I've tried to explain it, and people just don't want to listen. There's certain people out there, they don't want to listen, and they crap on it. And then Shiloh's friends, Robert McQuaid, Kim G, Mother, Back East, Critical Mass, they're all scumbags of a virus that is incorporated in this whole community. I see them on other channels, making buddy-buddy, and they stir up shit, and they keep the fraud of made up stuff from people's solves. Hey, that's really cool. They're going to tell you you're doing a great job. But then they'll come to my channel, and you look at my channel, how many responses. I have so many responses from Critical Mass that he puts in, and then within 10 or 15 minutes, they're gone. Because Critical Mass, I believe, is directly Shiloh, a.k.a. Happy Jack. They've infiltrated, over the past 2 years, all of the Fenn community to just keep this drama going, and everybody does not focus where you need to focus to end this fiasco. I'm telling you right now, folks, as the actual true solver, this treasure hunt was stolen by Shiloh Old. Bottom line, that's it. If you want information, what you need to do, Shy Guy, since you're the lawyer guy, you're talking about knowing this information, you need to look up the statute of limitations and find out when this comes out, because this solve will come out, whether you guys want to accept it or not, as the actual true solve. When it comes out, then what happens for the statute of limitations that all of this is fraud? Does it go back again? Because everything they've given you has been lies about dates and everything else. They're trying to get the same narrative that I had when I found the treasure chest. I let Forrest Fenn know, and it was going to be a year. I was retiring June 25th, 2020, and they recovered the treasure June 6th, right? Supposedly June 5th. That, all those dates in the metadata, in the pictures, are not going to line up. I can absolutely guarantee that. Like I said, the guy who solved it is the guy who knows who screwed everybody over. And everybody else that's wondering, I think it's Forrest Fenn. I think it's this. I think it's Dan Barbarisi. Dan Barbarisi is probably in on it. I have no doubt. He's got to go. This doesn't make sense, but I'll do it because I'm going to get a book and I'm going to get money. Cynthia, she's in balls deep. Cynthia Meacham is in balls deep. You could tell, because see the way she was asking Rudy, Rudy, this will hold up in a court of law, right? Because this picture, this is, I hope to God you guys say that this is the actual spot, because your pictures and your metadata, nothing is going to line up for dates that you said. So that all discredits all of the shit that you put into court. Zoe's already made her deposition. She's already screwed. So you're in on it too, Zoe. I know you're in on it. People don't know yet, but I know you're in on it, Zoe. And whatever other family members you pulled in, all of your cousins, all of your friends that have been infiltrated into this whole community. Now, whether or not Ben Knappel there, who owns Finding Fenn's Gold, I don't know what vloggers out there are getting paid by Chase Inc., but they don't bring my name up, right? Because are they mad at me because I'm not in the buddy league for everybody solved, that everybody's equal? I'm sorry. I'm not going to be in your buddy league. I solved the fucking thing, and you guys don't want to listen. And you're going to get washed over in dust when this thing takes off. Because if you haven't looked at my solve to see that Kent and Esther are the actual true cross that Forrest Fenn built and left there, then you're left in the dust. Because there's going to be someone out there that goes, this guy needs to get fucking interviewed, and we need to do a movie, or we need to do a miniseries about this, because this is so incredible, and how it's been blocked and frauded by Shiloh. You guys are going to regret that you didn't just take me out. And if you take me out now, so be it. I'm not worried about it. I really don't care. I'm tired. So take me out. But I'm the one that can stop. So FBI, if you're out there, I'm the one that can put these guys' information and discredit it and blow the whole thing out of the water. So I know the dates. I have all the information. They're trying to cover it up the way that Forrest Fenn did it in order as far as waiting for me, right? Do you think that Forrest Fenn was writing that letter in September, October, the remembrance letter in October 2020, knowing that he was going to get a picture of the treasure chest in June 2005. This is why you guys that are in the community that are trying to figure this out, you're trying to figure out dates and why this and why that happened. I'm the one that can answer why that happened. It frustrates me that you just don't want to jump on board. You're going to get left in the dust. I swear to God, there's going to be a team. There's going to be a few Einsteins out there that are going to go, this is it. This is the actual solve. There's too much information for it not to be matching in the books. And that's what you want to do. It's not going to be a brownie fish from 60 years ago that was floating around in the river that they nicknamed for Homer Brown. Your blaze is not going to be a lightning strike that you can't even really see, and you don't know which direction it is. So that lightning strike on a dead tree that's probably 25 years old is a blaze that Forrest Fenn used. This, you're going to see, and you know the great thing about this is that you can understand Shiloh doesn't acknowledge any of it, right? Jack doesn't acknowledge any of it. They're hiding, and they're trying to give you little pieces to see if you're going to eat them. Eat that whipped cream. They're trying to give you little pieces through K-Pro and Palisades. That's what they're trying to do. They're just feeding it out there, and they don't have to say yes or no. So if you don't like it, it's only a guess by K-Pro. It's only a guess by Cynthia, right? But now that they have a specific spot that they're saying that treasure chest, these are real pictures of the treasure chest retrieval. The dates on those pictures for the treasure chest retrieval will not line up with June 5th, 2020. I guarantee you, none of this information. That's why they're trying to shut everything down. Because if this information gets to where, in court, if it gets to that point that they have to come up with it, they're going to show that they have frauded everything that they've said. Bottom line, that's what's going to happen. And McCracken, I really hope you don't screw this up. I know your case is not going to go through. And you know, I want to say a couple things. Coombs, you're a fucking piece of shit. You're trying to sell your book for $150 online. You're not the real solver, Coombs. I don't give a shit what you say, what you think you know, what you think has happened. You are not. You're just one of those guys like Barbara. Barbara, you have songs. That's all you have. You won't put your solve out. You are not the solver, Barbara. Forrest Fenn himself said it was a man. Unless it's something we don't know, it was not you just by that quote. Everybody, this is the thing you have to understand. Forrest Fenn gave out clues at the end. Watch my Forrest Fenn Innocent video. It's not perfect because I've learned a little bit more about what actually is going down. But his information that Forrest Fenn gave out at the end was for the actual true solver, which is me. And other people have seen it by saying, hey, I was waiting for that one guy to contact me through email. That one guy is me, folks, who sent it to him in July, sent him the picture of the final resting place. And law enforcement, it should have stayed between Forrest Fenn and I as far as the final resting place. That's why I thought it was safe. But it wasn't. I know this whole story is hard to comprehend that this shit ending by Shiloh would actually happen. The fucking kid is rich. And he fucking stole the treasure chest from all of us. You know, I've called them out for a year. And their little minions pick on me on YouTube, throwing in the viruses or whatever. But they've never come out and said, you know, we need to shut this guy up. Because whether or not I'm true and I'm the real solver, which is the real reason, or even just being like a little pain in their ass, they should send, hey, Karl, I'm here. You sent me right away. You sent me the information, I guess, that maybe I'm not going to court. That came directly from Forrest Fenn's attorney. They shut me down as soon as they could. Right off. They're like, this fucking guy, we can't have go to court. So FBI, I'm right here. I'm right here with you. New Mexico governor, I'm right here. Respond. You'll not be sorry. Anybody that wants the actual truth, ask me how things lined up. That's all I'm saying. I can give it to you. I can give you the answers to what you're looking for. Who is at fault? Who did this whole big fiasco of a fraud? And it's Shiloh Old. Forrest Fenn got railroaded at the end, folks. Bottom line. And he did not want to say Wyoming, but he agreed to say it. There's so many things that when this really gets looked at by the experts, not by the Forrest Fenn blogger community, I don't have faith in them. I really don't. And I'm sorry to say that, guys. I have faith in humanity. I have faith that people can see the actual true solve and how beautiful it is. When you actually, there's not going to be a lot of people that can actually put it all together in their head when they look at it. But the cool things that you see, just understand, wow, that one thing is cool. But it also connects with how he brings in something else. Like the principle, okay? Just for an example. The principle, when Forrest Fenn principle, he's banging in the wooden sign, right? That's a sinuation for the cross. So when he's talking about the melding the two thoughts together in the plane, the sum of which would change his life, the sum is principle. So he's connecting these thoughts together into one. And then he says how the principle, banging in the sign, the wooden sign, and also about how important the sign was, or the cross, the grave marker in Vietnam. There's so many things that connect, and even the veil that I put in my quote video. He says, the sign, the grave marker in Vietnam said, if you should ever think of me when I pass this veil, smile at a homely girl, right? Forrest Fenn, in his My War for Me, he said, if you shall ever think of me when I pass this veil. And then he said, I finally found my way and I am at peace with it. So that is the take the chest and go in peace part. He's connecting from that cross in Vietnam that was so important to him. This is how he connected it. If you think of him when you pass this veil, he found his way to hide the treasure chest, and he is at peace with it. It's beautiful. This whole thing is so absolutely beautiful, and Shiloh is flushing it down the toilet. I absolutely know that this is going to be the rock star of Forrest Fenn's treasure hunt. Kent and Esther are it. They are the magic in this whole thing. Dancing with the Stars, and how important. If you've read this, all the stories, you see Forrest Fenn talks about all these different characters. And did you notice that not really many people brought up characters until I did my Muppet video about the characters in the Forrest Fenn, the Forrest Fenn community? That's when the actual vloggers started putting up, oh, this characters and those characters. That right there is critical for solving this thing. Because the two characters you're looking for are the two people that are keeping Forrest Fenn's secret, which are Kent and Esther. It's that simple. There's two names. Two people can keep his secret if one of them is dead. If you join them together and one is dead, they're both dead. They're going to keep the secret. It's that simple. It's so fucking simple for this whole solve. And if you don't want to look at it, I really don't care. You're missing a beautiful, beautiful treasure hunt mystery solution that Forrest Fenn came up with. And if you want to look at it and understand it, when this quote video comes out, you have to pause each one and read all of the information that's in. I did it like a court document so that when I get to court, that judge would go, this guy has everything answered. Every quote that was said, and I can't even fit it in. I'm at 10 minutes just condensing 10-second clips. Because there's so much information about Kent and Esther in the books and how it answers with all of the quotes. Folks, Shiloh is going to go down in history. And Zoe's going to go down in history also now. And you know what? I will go down in history. And I didn't want it to be this way, folks. If you watch my videos, I have reached out to them many, many times to just civilly discuss this. Because I didn't want the shit that they're going to fall into right now of this whole fucking thing being all fraud. Every document that they've submitted is fraudulent and made up. And the pictures will not line up. You guys fucked yourself by putting those pictures out. And I knew you would. And I should have realized it from the very first picture, just the metadata where that picture was. But I was a nobody way back then. People know me, but they don't want to talk about me. But I'm the guy that fucking solved it, folks. If you want the answers to how this all worked out, ask me. Don't be afraid. If you're afraid you're going to upset Shiloh, look at my videos. Oh, I've upset them. They're going to jail. They're eventually going to go to jail, whether they take me out. And then all of the people say, this is the actual real solve. There's no fucking way it can't be. With all of the connections in the book to Kent and Esther about Red Fox, Red Rider, he brings in so many innuendos of characters in Superman shows and also in the Aunt Esther, the Sanford and Son. It's so beautiful. It is absolutely 15 years of creation. And folks, just so you know, I went through the first book when I found Golden Arrow, and I found the Milkman Man superhero, and I found the Jolly Green Giant added to the Hulk that he talks about. And put it this way, on my flight home yesterday, I had a stopover in Philadelphia. I went to Gino's Steak and Cheese. I had a steak and cheese sub in memory of Superman in Forrest Fenn's stories. He talks about the Philadelphia Caper. The Philadelphia Caper. See, I'm from Boston. I'll leave that in there because that's how the Kent and Esther, canasta, that's the way we talk up here. So it's perfect. But I stopped and I had a Philadelphia steak and cheese in memory of Superman stopping in Philadelphia when he lost his ability to fly, walking through Philadelphia, and he had a steak and cheese sandwich at a restaurant. These connections in the book are beautifully connected with the superheroes. The marbles that I just put out in my crap video, just to show you. Forrest Fenn was a marble champion. The marble champion was Superman. Every story connects with Superman somehow, or Aunt Esther, or Fred Sanford. LaWanda Page, the bronze goddess, he said, yeah, in Vietnam I got the bronze star. The bronze star is Aunt Esther, LaWanda Page. She was the bronze goddess of fire who would set her body ablaze. Now, you don't have to accept my solve. You don't have to. You don't have to accept me. But once this goes beyond the Fenn community, all of the people in the world are going to go, wow, this guy had hundreds of things to show that he had the real solve. And why would none of the Fenn vloggers say, hey, you know what? This guy's got some cool shit. I'm going to follow him. I'm going to say, hey, Dave, I agree with you. You guys are going to get left in the fucking dust. And I've asked and I've pleaded. I've showed you actual truth. If you people think in the Fenn community that there is one solver and it was Jack with no answers, there's something wrong with you. Jack was pulled forward to cover Shiloh's ass. And now he's going to go down with them in actual full-fledged fraud to the world, lying about the actual, that's your metadata in those pictures. That's what's going to prove it right now. They're done. They're fucking over with the metadata that's in those pictures. You can't take that metadata somewhere else, some other date, and make believe that it's going to fit in 9 Mile Hole. I'm telling you right now, it is asinine, right? Asshole 9 hole. That's what they're trying to do up there. It's so fucked up, and they're caught in it. They're stuck, and they're trying to take my story of how everything lined up. That's why they're trying to come up with these dates and stuff. And Karl, I hope you go to jail for it too, for covering their fraud, because you know they have to tell you, Karl, I fucked up. I took the treasure chest. My name's Shiloh Old. How can I cover it? You're in on it, Karl, as far as I'm concerned, because you can't plead plausible deniability like maybe Cynthia Peachum was going to try to do. But Karl Lazard's, it's 100% proof now. Yeah, it's not, 100%. Wyoming. If you think a picture that you took in Wyoming that is a year later after the treasure chest was retrieved is going to fucking prove it, Karl Lazars, you're fucking mental in the head. K-Pro, I know that you do these little presentations from Shiloh. He feeds you what to do. You're both in on it. You're both, and that's where people go for their information. So you've got the market. You've got the market mastered. And Shiloh feeds you that information just to feed the crap with whipped cream on it to the public and see if they accept it. But you know what? You can't take 15 years of Forrest Fenn's solve and put it somewhere else. I've told you that. And you just don't want to listen. That's okay. My quotes video is coming out very, very soon. And that has a ton of information about all of the quotes answered. Any quote that I could think of, I looked back. I tried to find where different quotes came in and how they all were asked. And quotes out of the book, how they're all answered. It's all there. Every single thing. So if I didn't know where the actual treasure chest was with Kent and Esther, I wouldn't be here, folks. I would not be here. I'm not one of these other fucking kooks that like pushes it, that I'm the man. I'm absolutely positive. The thing is, I'm the man. I'm absolutely positive. That's the fucking difference. It doesn't sound different because I sound like the fucking kooks that are coming in saying they're the solver. But you have to have your shit to back it up. Barbara's afraid to show you because she's going to get discredited. That's it. Barbara's afraid that if she puts her information out, she's going to get laughed out of fucking court or wherever she puts her information. So she keeps it hidden. That's fine. You're not the solver, Barbara. I'm not worried about you. You're going to sue me because I said Barbara. Whatever. I don't care. You just fucking can't accept that you're not the solver. And why must I go? I didn't want to be brutal against all the vloggers. I wanted to be friends with you guys. I asked you. I even showed you, Troy, your video of commenting how wonderful it was to see a new solve and fresh ideas. But then you turned against me because my solve was the right solve. And you fucking turned against the guy who solved it. It's so fucked up. You guys, you vloggers that say you want the truth, but you want it to be yourselves. There's just no reasoning with you. You have to have your shit to back it up. And Kent and Esther is my backup. That's my solve. That's my copyright. That's Forrest Fenn's solve that he put out to incorporate hundreds of clues of Kent and Esther in the books. And I've proven it. But folks, the second book and the third book, you still have a chance to find a lot of the superheroes that he probably added in those. Besides Captain America, besides Submarina, besides Bucky, besides Captain America fighting Hitler, like Superman does, there are so many connections that I still haven't found in those books about Superman and about Aunt Esther. But the Lois Lane with all the L's for the Lanier School, there's so many informations, there's so much information that I've given to let you know that this is the actual true solve. And if you don't want to admit it, that's fine. But the people that still throw crap in, like you're going to see Robert McQuaid, Kim G, Critical Mass, Back East, all of these scamming pieces of virus shit that I respond. That's how I always respond to them. They are the virus that's trying to shut down the actual true solve. Now, where they were created, you look at some of them, they were created a month ago. It's just viruses that they're putting on my channel to shut down the actual true solve. So I got a feeling I'm going to run out of battery here. I know this isn't, or the storage. I know this isn't a 10-minute video. I wanted to get my information out to let you folks know. The metadata is what's going to take them down. Somehow, all of you vloggers need to understand that the metadata has to come out to prove them as fraudulent. Okay? That's what's going to do it. If they get backed off, we just go back into the same old shit that you guys have done for 2 years. So understand, if you want to back the real solver and understand where the solve came from, Superman and Aunt Esther, that's what's going to take them down. If you fucking can't back the guy who solved it because of your own pride, then it's a fucking shame. It is really a shame that you guys would do that to Forrest Fenn. Tried to help and bring Forrest Fenn's legacy back. And, hey, I can't say anything else besides that I'm the guy that solved it, and I am here. And now is a critical time, because if this court case goes away, nobody else can take them to court, right? Unless me. I'm the only guy that can take them to court, and that's not the route that I wanted to go. That's not the kind of person I am. But you guys will sit back and laugh at me because I got bumped out of court if I really did. And I'm the guy that can bring them down. So it's a fucking shame that if you're sitting back laughing that this has turned out this way, you're just egging on the actual fraud that came from Shiloh Old. Now, I pushed them to take me to court, but they won't. They will not. They don't want my name in the public. You know why? Because a percentage of the world will go, Jesus Christ, this guy has everything solved. Sorry if I upset somebody by saying that, but some people say it. My father used to say it, so it's, I don't say it a lot, but amen. But anyways, that is the actual solve, and people are going to see it. There's no way, if you don't look into it, you're not going to see it. But if you look into it, you will see. And it may not all connect, but a lot of it does. And if you're one of those people who are able to see it all connect and keep those clues in your head, where you see this big web of how it all interconnects, it's fucking beautiful. It's 15 years. So he took pieces of different parts. That's where it's tricky. But it's simple. It is so simple. Dancing with the Stars, folks. Kent and Esther are the actual, factual solve of Forrest Fenn's treasure hunt in this whole fiasco that Shiloh just created by stealing the treasure chest. Okay? If you can understand that, if you can fathom it, if you can comprehend that Shiloh would do a fucking evil thing like that, then you're on your way to understanding, and they're going to go down for fraud. But the solve, folks, please look at all the information I put out, especially the court documents. There's so much information that proves Aunt Esther is the homely girl from Vietnam that he talks about. And it's in there, all the different words out of each book that connect it together. So it's kind of tricky, but it's all there. And Clark Kent is the Kent. It's simplified with all of the superheroes. And him even talking about heroes. There's no hero in me. Some are heroes. There's so many things that he put in the book about superheroes. And even, that one's so cool. Ben Underwood. Look at that video. Ben Underwood. He's a superhero. A human, actual. It's a dedication to Ben Underwood. And if you don't know who he is, look him up, because you haven't watched my videos. It's another superhero he brought up in the first book. All of these little stories bring in superheroes somehow, especially in the thrill of the chase. The first book, and when you realize the chase is the little trench that leads up to his secret area, right? The thrill of that chase, and he says that chase. 15 years, folks, and they're giving you 15 seconds or 15 minutes maybe up in Wyoming. So you have to, this is the critical time where you have to say, we have to back this guy to be able to shut them down. Because if you don't back the guy who solved it, truly, you can't all be in with Shiloh. I know he has his plants in the community, and I believe that Ben Knappel is a plant. He's the one who owns Finding Fenn's Gold. I made one comment about the Homer Brown to try to explain something. I got fucking blocked, and I've been blocked a year on Ben Knappel's fucking site. Imagine that. This guy who's saying he wants the truth, and he's I don't know what he's getting paid by Shiloh, but I'm sure, I'm telling you right now, he's on Chase Inc. So you guys may get different levels of pay, depending on how much you do for Chase Inc. to shut down the actual solve. But Ben, I'm calling you out as a fucking fraud with Shiloh, because you play the fucking both sides. But you don't want the truth because you're shutting me down. And you won't answer me. You don't bring up my name. You silence everybody along with K-Pro. You see my name in the court records. Dave Woodard's going to be on court. Oh, he's just somebody who thinks he solved it. That's all K-Pro said. That's all. They won't bring up my name. They won't bring up the story. They won't bring up Kent and Esther because they're covering the fraud of nothingness in Wyoming, folks. You have to be smarter than that. I have faith in the human community and people out there that you can see through their bullshit. So, like me, don't like me, I'm going to fucking take you down, Shiloh. I'm going to take your whole fucking information of shit up in Wyoming and take it down, and somehow someone out there can help me. And that's what I'm looking for, because I have no voice. Nobody wants to listen. Nobody wants to say, hey, have the news crew go down and talk to this guy and find out what the actual thing is. For some reason, you've got me fucking covered with a safety blanket right now. But there's going to be somebody out there that knows and says, I've got the contacts. I'm going to send it to Dave. And we can talk to him and find out all of the information together. That's what's going to end up taking you down, Shiloh. But you know absolutely that people aren't stupid. And there's going to be a lot of people who see this solved. But you and Jack, you both sit back and not say a word so that you're not committed to 9 Mile Hole, right? But now that they're saying that these are actual pictures from Jack, you just screwed yourself double time from the first pictures you put out. Because that metadata is not going to line up, folks. Not going to line up. There's no fucking way that these pictures of the treasure chest at 9 Mile Hole validated is going to line up. The metadata is what you need for both of the pictures. September 19th, 2020, or 2019, September somewhere in 2019, and sometime this past year, last year, is what you're going to see on the buried treasure that Jack retrieved out of the hole that was already dug. It's so fucking obvious in the pictures. Anyways, I'm gonna end it here. I don't want to make it a 2-hour video. That's not me. I just wanted to tell you that I can tell the future. And I know that if we can get those pictures metadata, that right there is validation that they align. But it's getting the metadata from those pictures that is going to be the tricky part. Because if they shut down what's going on, and again, Shy Guys, let me know. If there's something that can prove that they've lied, is there some way to reopen about all of this information that they put out being fraudulent? What happens then? What happens if you can prove, which I can, about their lies? Does it change the whole thing? Does it change the whole ability to the statute of limitations? That's all I need to know. And folks, I want to let you know, Shiloh, when this actually comes out, my number I'm looking for is $10 million. That's what I'm looking for right now. Any lawyer that wants to jump in, who knows how to work around this, $10 million. So whatever your cut is going to be, that's the number right now to Shiloh's fraudulent activities about the treasure chest and hiding me, the guy who actually found it. Okay? There's your number now. Now you have a figure. So I'm going to run out of data here on my phone. Anyways, folks, I hope you have a great weekend. My name is Dave Woodard. I am the man from the East that Forrest Fenn talked about. I am the actual true solver. Factual.